Just ahead of this weekend's race at Texas, NASCAR Cup Series driver Christopher Bell joins the show today. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Christopher Bell, in his first full-time season with Joe Gibbs Racing, has seen plenty of ups and downs. He won early this year at the Daytona Road Course, made the playoffs in his first Cup Series season with JGR, but was eliminated last weekend after the Charlotte Roval. He was nice enough to stop by the show this week to talk about his 2021 season, talk about the next-gen car, how he would react if he was in a situation like Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick have been the last few weeks, and much, much more. And I want to give a big thank you to Rheem, of course, for helping set this interview up. Rheem will be on Christopher Bell's number 20 car this weekend at Texas Motor Speedway. So keep an eye out for that sharp red and black paint scheme on track this weekend. Without further ado now, let's go to my interview this week with Christopher Bell. How's it going, everyone? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Today I am joined by Christopher Bell, driver of the number 20 Rheem Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing, just ahead of this weekend's race at Texas Motor Speedway, which I guess is my home track. I live in 4 hours away. Texas is massive, but if I had to say it's a home track, I guess it's Texas Motor Speedway. But it's great to have you on the show again, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I guess this is kind of a home race for you as well, from being from Oklahoma, at least when it comes to the NASCAR schedule. So we'll talk about it in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about the Roval from this past weekend. I know kind of a bittersweet race. You had a solid top 10 run, finished 8th, but unfortunately missed out on the round of 8 by just a slim margin. But your first Cup season with JGR, what did you learn from your first Cup Series playoff experience?
Yeah, so the season as a whole has been really up and down. And as it sits right now, I'm sitting 10th in points, which I think is really good and something that I'm proud of. But if you look back at all the races that led up to this moment, it's really easy to pick out, a handful of races that would have put us in a lot better spot than what we are right now. So, it's been up and down for sure, but I think that there was a lot more potential to be more than what we had. And, as far as the Roval itself, it was a very, very not good race for us as, a group on the 20 car, but we did get a really good finish out of it. So that was rewarding to be able to grind all day and fight through struggles and mistakes that I made. And to come out with the top 10 was good, but we knew that we needed to win the race in order to move on. And unfortunately, we just, we weren't good enough to win.
Yeah, obviously there are still a few more races left this season. I know your playoffs are over, but is there anything, or how would you grade your 2021 season overall? And is there anything particularly surprising that you found this season?
Yeah, overall as a grade, I would say, probably a B minus. I think, it was good to win early, but after the Daytona Road Course win, I fully expected to win more races going into the playoffs. And, we had a couple opportunities to win and it didn't work out. I look back at Bristol Dirt, we were extremely fast and fun out there. Loudon was another racetrack that we were really competitive at, could have won and didn't. What was it? Watkins Glen, we were really good. And, it didn't work out there either. So there were a handful of races that I think we could have capitalized on, but we didn't, and we were sitting here with one win instead of multiple. And, I think it's just been up and down. And like I said earlier, you can look back at the season and pick a lot of the races that would help us out in the playoffs with bonus points and stuff like that we didn't capitalize on and we needed to.
Yeah, I think of a few second place finishes or, races like Loudon. You said, I think, was it Road America? Didn't you finish second there as well? So that's what stood out to me for you was the road courses. Like even at the Charlotte Roval, I know you lost track position at different times, but you came back to finish in the top 10. Like, what was it about road courses? Did you surprise yourself at all at road courses this year?
No, I don't think that. I definitely didn't surprise myself because even looking back at last year in the 95 car, my finishes sucked in the road courses, but they were two of my stronger races and I performed well and we were fast at both of the Daytona Road Course and the Charlotte Road Course. So I expected road course racing to be good for us this year. And with the road course racing, it's the 750 package with little spoilers. And, as a whole at Joe Gibbs Racing, it seems like the low downforce package is probably a little bit better for us. And I think it's better for my driving style too. So, I think a lot of reasons why we've succeeded on the road courses this year. And it's, it's been fun. I enjoy road course racing. It was really disappointing at the Roval to not perform like we were expecting to, but we'll keep plugging away and try and climb the ladder as far as we can here in the point standings.
Absolutely. I want to talk about your crew chief, Adam Stevens, for a moment. Obviously, he's been very successful in his career, but you two seem to gel pretty well, I guess, in your first season together. How would you say your relationship with him evolved over the course of this season?
Yeah, it hasn't been all cherries, that's for sure. We've had our moments where we haven't ran well, and that's like I said, we're sitting 10th in points, and normally I would be really happy with that. And if you would have told me that in January that you're 10th in points, I would have been like, okay, yeah, I'll take that. But we were capable of so much more, and the season's not over yet, but we are capable of so much more if we can just put everything together. And Charlotte is a great example of me and Adam not racing with each other, and we went to Charlotte for the first time ever, and we weren't very fast. So I think if we can go back to the Roval tomorrow, we would be tremendously better than what we were on Sunday. So and that's been throughout the course of the season. I look back at Dover and Homestead, and there's a handful of races where I'm sure that if we could go back the second time, we'd be a lot better.
Absolutely. Well, I want to transition away from that just a little bit. I don't know how much you've paid attention to the Harvick and Chase Elliott feud the past few weeks, but from your perspective, when you have an on-track disagreement with another driver, and I know a couple months ago you kind of had one with Kyle Larson a little bit, what is your standard for navigating that kind of situation? And more importantly, what do you expect from the other driver?
Yeah, I think it all depends on what you want to accomplish. And I don't exactly know what transpired at Bristol between Harvick and Chase Elliott, but Chase obviously thought that he got wronged, and I don't exactly know what happened. I saw a little clip where Harvick got into him and cut his tire, right? Is that what happened?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so Chase was pissed. I would have been too, and he cost Harvick the race, and of course Harvick's pissed. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a matter of how you proceed with that, and obviously Chase and Harvick talked it out at Bristol, and it didn't get resolved by any means. Come back. So if I have a confrontation with someone and I am truly sorry about it and I didn't mean to do that, then I always make an effort to find them and explain my case and tell them that I really didn't mean to do that. So I don't think that the Harvick Chase incident is, they obviously were intentional on what they were doing. So it was a little bit different than anything I've been a part of.
Interesting. Yeah, because I've heard different drivers say, like, if I did it on purpose, you'll know because I didn't text you or call you after the race. If it was an accident, usually they'll make an effort. So obviously something went wrong with Elliott and Harvick. I was just wondering. I wanted to hear from a driver because I've never been in a heated situation like that. So that's pretty interesting for me to hear, and I'm sure for many watching to hear as well. I want to talk a little bit about the next gen car as well. I know as of the time we're filming this, the 2-day test at the Roval is sort of wrapping up. Is there anything that you, the driver, can learn from these tests when you aren't actually the one driving the car? Like, how or when does that information reach you in this case?
Yeah, well, at Joe Gibbs Racing, we have a bunch of resources. So I think we had Martin driving yesterday and maybe Denny today. I'm not sure, but I think Martin was actually in the car again today too at some point. So all of those notes that Martin, his comments, the crew chief's comments, will go into a database, and I have all access to them. So, and then obviously I'll text Martin and ask him, what went down, what he felt. So it's an open notebook. Martin being there, I'm not the one in the car, but I can get all the information that I need from him.
Interesting. I always wonder how that breaks down because you've tested the next gen, but I guess it's been a little while. They've obviously changed it. So I like, how helpful are those notes? Like when you get like a page of notes from Truex or from Hamlin, like does it kind of go in one ear out the other? Do you really have to feel it out for yourself, or do those notes really help?
Yeah, it's probably more so just educational, right? So whenever I look back and Martin says, the steering felt this way, and we had to do this to change it. And I'm like, okay, well, be prepared for the steering to be wonky. And it was definitely screwed up whenever I drove it at Bristol for sure. So, I knew that going in that steering was going to be a problem, and it was. But yeah, just trying to learn all the information that you can and see what we need to be better. And, I don't think that Toyota or Joe Gibbs Racing is really thrilled about how the next gen test at Charlotte is going right now. So it'll be interesting to see. I think I'm doing the oval test at the end of the year. So hopefully we're a little bit more competitive by then.
Yeah, I kind of want to go into that a little bit more because I saw Corey LaJoie, I think it was, tweeted yesterday that he thinks the next gen is going to even the playing field between teams even more than he initially thought. Granted, I think it's the first time he's been in the car, so who knows for sure. But we're obviously months away from seeing the final product. But as someone who drives for one of the best teams in the garage, like, where will Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing be able to flex their muscle, I guess, on this new car?
Yeah, it's all new, right? So nobody exactly knows where, what makes downforce, what doesn't make downforce, and all the parts and pieces are pretty much stock that comes from an outside source. So right now, Gibbs or Hendrick or Penske all build their own cars, build their own pieces, and put them together. Where that's not going to happen now. So Rick Ware and Spire and all those other teams are going to have the same cars that Gibbs has, but Gibbs and all the big teams will still have all the resources, engineer work and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens right out of the gate and how, the teams develop the cars and get better over time.
Well, there's still, as you said, many more tests to come this offseason. But as a driver, what is the biggest question you still have about the next gen, if any?
Yeah, probably for me being a driver, the heat. I know that it's been a really big topic, and the cars that we have today are hot. So we don't need to be taking a step in the wrong direction by any means. And whenever I drove at Bristol, it was a warm day outside, and I definitely was hot inside the car. So I would not be looking forward to going to Nashville or Gateway in June if these things are hotter than the current cars. So I think that's a really big piece. The tire and wheel assembly, having much smaller sidewalls, bigger wheels, makes the car drive a lot different. And at Bristol, it caught me by surprise. I spun out there once just because the lack of slip that you have in the car. Whenever you get sideways, you can't just ride it out. You got to be on, or you're on edge all the time. So it's going to be interesting to see which drivers can figure that out and push the limits the furthest.
Definitely. It'll be interesting for fans to follow along all throughout the offseason, I believe. But to wrap things up, Christopher, there are still 4 more races to go this season. So what are your goals these final few weeks?
So, Eric, I feel like I have the potential and the opportunity to win at every racetrack that we go to if we can dot our I's and cross our T's. So will I win all 4 of the remaining races? No, I won't. But I think that you look at Texas, I've won an Xfinity race there. I ran 3rd in the Cup car last year, so there's no reason that I can't win if we do everything right. Kansas, I've won an Xfinity race there, ran well in the Cup car. There's no reason why I can't win there. So between all 4 of these racetracks, I've ran well at in the past, and I know that if we do everything right, we should be able to contend for a win. So hopefully we can bring good Camrys to the racetrack and I can't be speeding on pit road either like I did this week. Just clean up our incidents that we have, and I think we'll be in contention.
Absolutely. Well, as you mentioned, the JGR cars have been probably the best in the field at the 750 tracks. We've seen how good you've been at Texas in the past, so it'll be fun to watch you in the Rheem Camry this Sunday. Thank you so much for being on the show, Christopher. Good luck the rest of this season. Thanks for being on.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
Thanks again to Rheem for setting up this interview, making this video possible, and thank you to Christopher Bell, of course, for spending some time with us earlier this week. I hope you all enjoyed that interview. That is going to do it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. We talk NASCAR news, rumors, predictions, reactions. Sometimes we have stars of the sport on the show as well, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, a huge thank you to my amazing Patreon supporters as well. I couldn't do this show without your continued support every single month. Texas Motor Speedway this weekend, Xfinity and Cup Series playoff action on deck. We'll have a lot to talk about, I'm sure. Thanks for watching. I will see you all in the next video.